Okay, before we begin your proportion video, you're going to need to make your mini book. You may have already done this in class, but just in case you haven't, you're going to have a piece of paper like this. And just like the instructions show you here, you're going to fold along the middle. Okay. Step 2, you are going to fold the paper in half again. Step 3, you're going to fold in half the other direction. So down the middle here. Unfold the paper. So it's like this. You're going to cut across. Okay, so like this is where it's attached. That's where you're going to cut. And you're only going to cut down to the halfway point. So it does this. Alright, so here's your cut. You're going to fold this in half like this, push it together, like this, and then fold it over to make your book. Okay, so now you have taken your notes on setting up proportions, and you should have your book prepared for solving proportions. So let's start with the front cover of the book. Your title is Solving Proportions. Our method we're using is XMED. So this is a pretty simple one to remember. X means cross, M means multiply, and you're going to get E, which is an equation, and then you're going to divide. So this is our method of solving proportions. Okay, so going back to setting up your proportion, which we took notes on previously, you find the words, and then you find the ratio that's given, and then you look for the missing information. And you use the words to make sure that you're filling everything in the right spot. So if you forgot how to do this, just see your previous notes. We're going to be using those notes for solving the proportion. So we set it up previously. Blue paint to white paint. There were 3 quarts of blue paint, 2 quarts of white paint, and we needed to know how many quarts of white paint when there's 9 quarts of blue paint. So our first step here is to cross multiply. We combine the x and the m. So 3 times x is going to give us 3x. 2 times 9 is going to give us 18. So this is your first step to solving a proportion. Your third page is your equation. So we've cross multiplied, now we set up our equation. So going back to this, we had 18 on one side, we had 3x on the other. Those are going to be set equal to each other. That's all the equation is. Then you're going to divide on the 4th page. So be on your 4th page whenever you're taking this part of the notes. We're going to divide because that's the inverse operation of multiplication, and this is a one-step equation. So we divide both sides by 3 because we're trying to get the variable by itself. And when you do this, you end up with 6 equals x. The 5th page of your book, we're going to be writing the answers. Now, you might be thinking, well, we already got the answer. It's 6 equals x. When you're solving a word problem, you have to make sure that you're answering the question that is being asked and that you're not just finding an answer. So the question that was being asked was how many quarts of white paint. So whenever we write this answer, we write it as 6 quarts of white paint, not 6 equals x.